Yo, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It's Got Talks Football. We are back again with another video. Today, we just beat Leicester 4-2 in a game that was stress FC. They stressed me out, Arsenal. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't believe my eyes. For we did not do nothing bad defensively, but somehow we conceded 2 goals from 0.3 XG, the total of those 2 shots, each 0.03. The chances of them scoring those 2 goals were next to none, but somehow they went in the back of the net. First goal that Arsenal scored, of course, Gabriel Martinelli's back, ladies and gentlemen. He got on the goal sheet. Finally, to see Gabriel Martinelli back on the goal sheet, lovely to see. Nothing more than I love to see when a player is getting themselves back in the thick of things, back in form, and hopefully that goal from Gabriel Martinelli can get him back in form for Arsenal. Then, of course, there was a situation where Arsenal had to get themselves a second goal lead. And quickly after that, we did find ourselves in getting ourselves a second goal lead with Leandro Trossard. At that point, I didn't think Leandro Trossard did much right in the game. I thought he was having a poor game, but he did end up getting us a second goal just on the thick of halftime. He got us a second goal. So it was a good thing that we got that in the extra time. Just before halftime, we got Leandro Trossard's second goal, but then we continued to push on. What happened was in the second half, we had a little bit of complacency, a little bit of unluckiness, and we conceded a goal in the 47th minute from absolutely nothing. Set piece off Justin's head, catches Raya going in another direction, and then bang, goal goes in. What can you do in that situation? Absolutely nothing. The keeper had nothing. He couldn't do anything about it. And then in the 63rd minute, this is where I was extremely frustrated. We were pushing, we were attacking. And this was probably one of our best offensive performances when it comes to creating open play chances, creating goals. We should have scored 5 goals in this game, XG tells you. There was a chance that the goalkeeper saved. Oh my God, their goalkeeper was standing on their head. Leicester's goalkeeper deserves a round of applause. The performance he had, that guy is going to the top of the game. If he performs like this consistently, he was outstanding. He saved chance after chance after chance. One where he basically took out the back of the net almost. The Kai Havertz chance, the chance against friggin' Calafior, mental. But hey, late in the game, 2-2. Arsenal go and score 2 goals. One from an own goal, the one that Leandro Trossard takes the lead, and this is why he's Mr. Clutch. And then late in the game, Kai Havertz stat pads gets a chance from absolutely nowhere. Just James Justin basically kicks it off Kai Havertz's chest and it goes in the back of the net. Hilarious. And it counts for a goal for Kai Havertz. So it adds to Gunnar Solskjaer's goal tally for Kai Havertz. But people, Liverpool are top of the league. Man City dropped points. And Arsenal needed to win this game, and we won this game. Souls, how you feeling? How are you feeling? Yo, Matt, I'm gonna add you on what do you call it? I'm gonna add you on the panel show midweek. This is just me and Souls for today. But talk to me. What are you saying?
Do you want the truth or do you want like a fake version of everything? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm disappointed. And I know we won the game. Yeah, I know we won the game, but we should never have been in a situation where we were 2-0 down, like where we let a goal
conceded.
No. I understand that, but we should never have been in a situation where we were even 2-2. That's just my look. This is again. That's how I feel.
Can I show you this?
I don't care. You don't have to show me. I know the goal.
I like this goal. I like this goal. When there's something to debate about, I like it. And the reason why I'm saying it's something shocking. Did you see the expected chances for these goals? Like 0.3 expected chance. Another one here, 0.3 expected chance. And nobody is saving that goal that James Justin scored.
I'm not saying whether those could have been saved. They could have been whatever, right? They could have come from the halfway line, both of them. The point is that we as an Arsenal, right, with the defense that we have, we should never find ourselves in a situation where we look. If this was 2 goals and we slipped up against a Liverpool, I can kind of understand it. When we slip up a 2-goal lead against a superior opposition, I can kind of take it. But when it's a Leicester team that shouldn't even be sniffing on our goal, that's when I kind of feel like, you know what, we shouldn't have really been in a situation where this was 2-2. Because let's take that away for a second. the amount of opportunities that we had, we should have blown them away. We shouldn't have even been in a situation where they could have even thought they were in the game. Now, that's the criticisms, right, out of the way. Because, look, I'm one of those. I'm also going to talk about that. I don't care how good of a win we have.
Let's just stay on this point before we move on. Arsenal, you're saying Arsenal should not have kept it close in the sense that Arsenal should not have conceded those 2 goals. Can we just think about it for a second? Who do you think made a mistake in the lead up to those 2 goals? Because they were literally Ray. You could say Raya made a mistake. He stepped the wrong way. You could say we shouldn't have even let the guy take the shot. But really and truly, the quality of those goals and the chances that those were scored in, 9 times out of 10, those goals don't go in the back of the net.
No, it's not. Look, I think you're missing the point of kind of what I'm saying is the way that we were playing. We shouldn't have even been in a situation where they could have even made a comeback. And I'm saying like we should have been 4, 5, 6 up by that point. And now I understand you're not going to score every opportunity you create, but at the same point, is that we should have been 3, maybe 4-0 up with the opportunities that we had. They shouldn't have, in my opinion, they shouldn't have even had the hope of coming back in this. And I understand, look, the goals were superb. Like, they were good, like, especially the Justin goal. Like, the Justin goal, especially, like, talking on that alone, that was
He's never scoring a goal like that again.
No, probably not. Like, will we see a goal like that in the Premier League this season again? Probably not. Because they are like once in a while kind of opportunities, like where you just strike it and it just goes in. Like, I'm not saying no one else can do this. I'm just saying there's certain goals that, you know, you just don't see very often, is what I'm trying to say.
Are you being a little bit harsh? I like this because when I'm being too nice, you always tell me, are you being a little bit too harsh?
I'm not, by the way, I'm not saying like for people who are like happy and they're like, whatever, those 2 goals were 2 goals. For me, it's like, maybe I am being harsh. I don't know. Maybe I was pissed off because we let a 2-goal lead go, regardless of the situation. For me, that's the problem I have, right? It's that we shouldn't have been in a situation against Leicester. Okay, if I'm being honest, I feel like the midfield was too defensive-minded. That's probably my actual problem, because not to move the topic, but to say that I felt like Arteta at 2-0 should have gone, Ethan, here's your opportunity. You know, we don't need to have 2 DMs at this point. We don't need to have Partey and Rice on this. We need someone who can maybe create something different and add a different element to the game.
I'm going to talk about Ethan, but before we talk about Ethan, can we take a second to appreciate the goalkeeper, the Leicester goalkeeper? Because the Leicester goalkeeper, Matt Hermansen, that guy was outstanding today. Now, have you seen a goalkeeper play that well against us in a long time, Souls? He made 7 he stopped 7 big chances. He made 7 big saves. Unbelievable saves too. The quality of the saves that he made. Souls, I'm sorry to cut you off, but as much as we want to talk about defensive, do you know today the performance that he put in? He made almost as many saves. No more. Sorry, one second. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Look at this. Matt Hermansen made 13 saves, the most in the Premier League since the December of 2017 when De Gea was against us, and he made those saves where they got the draw for Manchester United.
I mean, look, insane. I'm not sitting here and saying that the keeper did not pull a blinder. And I mean, that David De Gea performance is an all-time goalkeeping performance. I remember the opportunity. Like, look at that Lacazette strike, for example. It was inches in front of him as well. And like this, it was a brilliant goalkeeping performance. That's not what I've got a problem with. I do think there were elements of we could have been more clinical. We could have added a bit more dynamism to the game to try and combat this. But look, maybe I am being harsh, I don't know. But for me, I just felt disappointed in the moment that we let a 2-goal lead go. But the performance from the keeper, of course, 100%. I mean, 13 saves. And they weren't like, oh, we were just taking long shots at him, that's why he had 13 saves. No, there were probably like 12 of the 15 shots that we had were probably inside of the box. You know, whether that's in the penalty area, inside the 6-yard box. Like, we were taking strikes at very scoreable. And, you know, and look, he pulled off some amazing saves. The Havertz save, for example, there's a moment, I think Trossard.
Unbelievable. The Calafior one. Literally, the ball is in the back of the net almost.
Yeah.
And he somehow stops it.
So yeah, like he pulled, and it was like I said, like it was actual very top level saves. They weren't just like, oh, okay, like, you know, we took 15 long shots and he saved 15 of them. Like, no, they were like very close range, very on another day they go in. And yes, you've got a point on that. But for me, that's where the clinicalness needs to be a bit better. And we do need to take our opportunity, which we ended up taking. But, you know, I wanted to try and get the negatives out early in the show so that we can actually speak about, you know, some of the positive. But I did want to disagree because I don't actually feel like, for me, like I'm gonna praise them for winning 4-2. It's more of a, well, you've done the job that you should have done. So that's how I feel about it anyway.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of speak about everyone separately. So I'm gonna start with Martinelli. First half performance. Martinelli didn't have a Cole Palmer performance, for God's sakes. Cole Palmer got friggin' 4 goals, and we're gonna talk about Cole Palmer in a second, even though this is an Arsenal match reaction. But Martinelli got a goal and an assist in this game to start the game. It's nice to see him back involved in the goal sheet. It's nice to see him back doing what he does. It's nice to see Martinelli making being an X factor in this game, getting a goal, getting an assist, being really involved in that first half. And I felt like he really did do his job well today. Martinelli was back in form. Martinelli was back happy. Martinelli was back playing at his best. And that's all we ask from Gabriel Martinelli. And I think a big factor in what made Martinelli's performance a lot better is the guy who was next to him, Calafior. The left-hand side looked a lot better today. And we got to talk about it. Martinelli, Calafior, the left-hand side is Martinelli back. Gunnar Souls, talk to me.
Yeah, no, I remember us having like, you know, sort of preseason, you know, conversations, especially I think on the prediction show where I did say, look, with Mikel Moreno coming in and the additions of like Calafior, someone who naturally likes to overlap and allows Martinelli to come inside. Because the thing with Martinelli is, and I'll keep saying it, he's not a winger. He's never going to be a winger. So don't use him in that way. You've got to use him as one of two things. Either you move him into the striker role as a number 9, or you bring him in as an inside forward and bring him closer to goal. All of his best work happens when he's closer to that goal. That's just where he naturally thrives. And that's what kind of Calafior so far has allowed him to do, because when you look at Declan Rice as an example in that 8, you know, you're going to get, with Mikel Moreno, you're going to get an absolute upgrade on what Declan Rice is currently doing in that 8 role when Mikel comes in. And when that addition happens, I feel like Martinelli naturally will be given that volume of opportunities where you start to see a bit more of that double goals, double assists. Now, this isn't me flip-flopping before people say, because this is always what I've said, but my problem with Martinelli at the moment has always been just look up, look for your opportunities. And today we've seen that, you know, in a lot of moments, he slowed down the game for himself in his own head, and he thought about what the next step should be. There were still erratic moments. That's always going to be the case, where he takes a shot first rather than maybe looking up and seeing if there's a better option. But I can't remember which moment it was. I think it was maybe, the Trossard goal. He looks up, he takes an extra second, looks up, sees Trossard and plays the ball. That's what we're asking for. Look, at this point, it's about fine margin coaching. It's about those little fine tunes of a player's ability that's going to get the best out of them. Martinelli's never been a shit player. Like, it's just a player that needs to be tweaked. He needs to be, you know, kind of monitored and coached in a certain way. Same way that when Sterling came out and said, when Arteta looked at my game at Man City, he told me to maybe change the way I start to receive the ball to be able to get out of pressure better. That's what we need to see with Martinelli. It's that fine tune of, look, when you're in that zone, just take an extra second. Just think about what's around you, scan the pitch, and just understand your options before just taking the shot. Sometimes it's good, but sometimes it can be a detriment to the way that we play. And today, Martinelli did exactly what we've been asking of him. Look up, look for your options, and make the right decision. The goal, look, I'm hoping this is the platform that he can then build on, because performance-wise, I haven't criticized him. My criticism always been his end product hasn't been good enough for last season and coming into this season. Now I'm hoping he can just springboard from this and continue with the goals, the assists, and whatever else is needed.
3 goal involvements for Martinelli in the last 2 games. Calafior and him linking up are I'm accrediting a lot more of his comfortability to Calafiori's comfortability on the left-hand side. But while we're talking about that, we're also going to talk about the right-hand side in a second. But I just want to spend one more second. I think Martinelli's well and truly back, and this is all he needed. Now he has 2 assists and a goal in 2 games. Hopefully he can keep it up. Hopefully he can get himself going. And the offensive performance from the team today, we were dangerous from the right side. We were dangerous from the left side. We were dangerous through the middle. The whole team was dangerous. And this is where I'm going to stop it here. And I know you hate stats, bro. I know you hate stats.
Yeah, whilst you bring the stats up, Brian, one thing I wanted to say, I feel like this is the perfect time for him to find his form again, because PSG is a perfectly catered game for someone like a Martinelli or his profile, because they're going to by the way, I'm not saying he's going to go and thrash them, but what I'm saying is, because PSG believe in their ability, they're going to create a bit of a higher line. They want to create that sort of pressure from the top, which is going to leave opportunities to run in behind, to play off the shoulder of the defenders, which is why I'm excited to see Mikel Moreno coming into the team whenever that happens. But Calafior as well, someone who's got that ability to thrive in that sort of space. So I feel like it's the perfect time, and he will thrive against PSG. Now, what he ends up doing and whether his end product matches what he's been doing, obviously time will tell, but it's the perfect time for him to have that confidence, because he will cook against PSG.
All right. So after the game, you know what I looked at? So I looked at our big chances created. And what we did today is one of the best performances when it comes to big chances created. People were talking about creativity, like Brandon and others. These are not shots that you know what you were speaking about. And we had a debate. I said, talk to me after the Leicester game. I said, calm down. No Martin Odegaard, we're still going to be able to create chances. It was just the level of opponents that we were facing, which was stopping us from creating the level of chances that we would normally make. But today, you look at what's on the screen. You look at what's on the screen, guys. This has taken Arsenal from the 13th in the league with chances created to first. This is the level of creation that we had. We had the most shots in the league this game. We had the most shots on target in the season this game. We had the most big chances created in a single game in this game. We absolutely dominated this game and should have scored maybe 7 goals, in my opinion. But we only come out with 4. You can blame that on our attack not being clinical, or you could just say the goalkeeper stood on his head. Either way, I'm happy with the offensive performance when it comes to chance creation. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, I've never really said it's a problem. I've never really come out and said that, look, well, I'm afraid of Martin Odegaard being out, because we do have solutions in the team. Now, Mikel's found a way to not have Ethan and still create these opportunities. The City game was a different dynamic, but when it was 11v11, we were creating opportunities. We were breaking Man City down. When it was, even in the Spurs game, it was, again, a different way that we wanted to play. We wanted to absorb the pressure and actually break them on the transition. I feel like the one thing that we're doing this year that it is a bit refreshing. A lot of people disagree with this, but we're approaching the game as the game. We're not approaching it as like, okay, we just need to play our way every single time. It's about what's the best way to beat this opposition and what tweaks can we make to beat that opposition. Against Leicester, yes, we took the approach that we did against City, what we did against Spurs to some degrees, but we kind of opened ourselves up a little bit. And the reason why so many opportunities were created, do you know why? It was because of how dynamic that front was. The interchanges, Trossard coming out to the right, Saka coming into the middle, tucking in, Havertz coming out to the wide areas as well as Martinelli tucking in. So we were kind of interchanging our front forward of, let's say, the front 4. They were kind of finding themselves into different positions, helping with overloads. Something that obviously we missed because Martin Odegaard did it superbly on the right-hand side with Saka, where they created an overload of right-hand side players. Now we're seeing it on the left-hand side with Kai Havertz assisting, Martinelli, Calafior coming in. And I feel like it's going to improve so much more once Mikel Moreno introduces himself as well. And that's kind of what changed.
Moreno comes into this team, that left-hand side is going to be cooking. But my main point was more about us missing Odegaard and people saying we miss Odegaard so badly. We don't have any chance creation. Bloody blah, blah, blah.
That's because they're looking at 2 games where the whole design of it wasn't to create chances. And I think that's what gets lost on people, is that we're not understanding what's required. We're just understanding what we want. We want to see the Wenger football, but the Wenger football isn't going to work. And we need to find a new way to win this league, because we've tried that. The first season we competed when Jesus and Zinchenko came in. We played that free-flowing, attacking, absolutely wanting to destroy teams in the first half and, kind of sitting back on our laurels in the second half. That didn't work. We lost the league. Second season, we kind of went the complete opposite, where we were a bit more defensively assured, and then we kind of wanted to play that flowing football, but in phases. This year, it's a completely different approach. The teams we want to attack and we can attack, we do. The teams that we need to sit back and just take our opportunities, that's what we're doing. So we're finding and designing ways to beat the team in front of us, not the way we want to win.
Let's now talk about Mr. Clutch. Thank God we signed this guy instead of Mikel Mudryk. The man himself, Leandro Trossard, scores the second goal and scores the goal that is technically an own goal, but should have been should go on to be considered the winner. And the clutch moment, once again, Leandro Trossard stepping up and getting that goal. Even though it shouldn't be counted as a thing, it should be considered a goal. That should be a goal. But to me, right now, I'm looking at him and I'm saying he's one of our most clutch players we have in the squad. Do you know that he has scored six clutch goals for Arsenal already? He's only been at Arsenal for a little bit. 6 clutch goals already. Do you understand the level? Since joining Arsenal, he has had 6 goals, which have been game winners in the Premier League. Also, no Arsenal player has scored more in his period. Also, another crazy thing, Kai Havertz also has 6 game winners. What the fuck?
Kai Havertz has what, sorry?
Kai Havertz has the same amount of game winners as Trossard.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying to people. He's had like 7 or 8 goals. I can't remember which one was it. Brentford, I think it was. Brighton, I think he scored the winner. Trying to think back. I think against Spurs last season as well. It was, and then
Brentford, Kai Havertz. Yeah, Trossard.
That was his first one.
Trossard goal is inevitable. You just got to give him a round of applause. He is Mr. Clutch. He 100%. Is the player in this team. And without this man, there's a lot of games where we drop points. You got to just give it up to him.
No, 100%. And I mean, look, whether it was Mudryk or Trossard coming in, I'm not concerned. I think Mudryk, we had a plan and a different plan for him. Now, sometimes the stars align and you get the better player for the situation that you needed. And Trossard, for me, is someone who's been magnificent since he's come in. Now, I do still believe he's an impact player rather than someone who's constantly going to start and get you like those 10 out of 10 performances. But you need that. You need those players who can come on and just create moments and take the game by the scruff of the neck. And what's that, sorry?
You need the clutch gene.
100%. And I feel like that's him. Because I know a lot of people are going to disagree and a lot of people are going to come in the chat for me. But I feel like the only other player is Martin Odegaard, who has those clutch moments in him. Especially in his early days at Arsenal. I feel like with Havertz, it depends on the team more than him. Because if the team can create those opportunities for him, then he will be that clutch player. Whereas with Saka's a game winner. And I guess they're the same thing, but I feel like his overall game and his ability to change the game without impacting it directly is what makes him clutch. Whereas I feel like with Martin Odegaard and like Trossard and maybe Havertz at the moment, they're directly the goal scorers to win us those games. Whereas with Saka can, for example, today, he didn't get any GA today, but he was a game changer for us. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, I feel like we do have them, but in different ways. Whereas with Trossard and I'd say Havertz are like directly the guys who score.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next topic that we need to discuss as we are flying by in these topics. Do you know who the next person is that I'm going to discuss? Do you have a genuine idea of who I'm going to mention? Because it's the man.
Ethan or...
Yes, the man who came off the bench. He came off the bench and literally with his first shot, I thought he could have goddamn won us the game. With his first shot, he took the game by the scruff of the neck, showed people, I am not here just to take part. I'm here to take over. And that might be a cliche. That might be what people laugh at in the chat, but you all seen it. The breath of fresh air he was. And I felt like you could have taken Thomas Partey out earlier with the way that he changed the game. Super sub on the day, and he's showing Mikel Arteta more and more that he's ready. Now, Gunnar Solskjaer, I disagree with you on one hand. I'm not saying Ethan. I'm okay with Mikel Arteta having a patient approach with Ethan. Ethan needs to get himself back up to this level. I mean, get himself up and ready to be able to play more and more minutes. What you start him in the League Cup, you now play him. You play him in this game, coming off the bench, and maybe in the next game he plays 30 minutes instead of 20 minutes. Maybe in the following game after that he starts and he comes off after 60 minutes, and then maybe like 5 games down the road he starts and plays a whole game. I don't think he's going to start versus PSG, but damn, I wouldn't be against it.
You know my thoughts. The guy's
You want
ready.
him. You want him playing 90 minutes.
Hey, listen. No. There's a difference. Because we don't have Martin Odegaard, it's why I want him playing. I feel like this is the prime opportunity to give him those minutes, because the second Martin Odegaard comes back, and touch wood that it doesn't become a reoccurring thing.
1 second. Shout out to my boy Mohammed. Hope you're doing well. Hope your family's safe. Hope you're safe. Stay safe, my brother. I know you're out there in a rough area, part of the world. Stay safe, my brother. Haven't spoken to you in a long time. Nice to see you're still watching the videos, and everything's safe where you live, man. Take care of yourself. But yeah, continue, Souls.
And obviously, stay safe. Hopefully, everything's all right. But yeah, in terms of like Ethan, for me, it's like the confidence he exudes. Like even rivals are taking a notice that this guy might be the truth. He might just be that guy. And touching wood that Martin Odegaard doesn't have recurring injuries. The minutes are going to shrink for him, and this is the prime opportunity, in my opinion, to be giving him those minutes to kind of get accustomed to the team, because every single time he touches the pitch, he is the guy. Like even today when he came on, for me, he was the MVP the minute he came on. He was the man of the match the second he touched that pitch. The way he wants to take players on, the way that he's willing to take strikes, the way that his risk-taking ability for a 17-year-old, he's got the mentals, he's got the minerals to be able to go right to the top. And we need to be nurturing that. And now, look, maybe the approach that I want is to drop him in and play him. Maybe it's the wrong approach. We'll see, obviously, with time how that happens. But for me, play him against PSG. Like, play him, because for me, the guy's got the arrogance and the confidence to actually play those games and take the moments. And I don't want anyone feeling comfortable. And for me, Ethan needs to be able to come into this team and go, do you know what? This is my position to take over. And this is his opportunity to show that. Because the last thing that I also want is for players to come in cold for a player. Like they've not had minutes, they've not had anything, and they just get thrown in at every moment. But for me, man, this guy is sensational. Like, genuinely, like rivals, even from Spurs. I've seen some Spurs fans saying it. I've had some conversation with other rivals saying this guy genuinely looks like the truth. And if beyond Arsenal fans can see it, that's where you really get the credit as a player to say, do you know what, there is something here. Now, how far he can go, that's up to him.
Definitely. Next, Bukayo Saka. We need to talk about Bukayo Saka. And before we do the Bukayo Saka comparisons to Cole Palmer and all the other stuff that people want to talk about, I just want to say Bukayo Saka is slightly going under the radar today. Do you know Bukayo Saka's performance today? Gunnar Solskjaer, he had 101 touches. He had 54 passes where 50 of them he completed. He created 8 big chances. 8. Do you 1 second, 8 chances he created. Sorry, not 8 big chances. 8 chances he created in the game. 8 chances. Do you understand how crazy that is, Souls? Do you understand how crazy that is? 8 chances. Also, he had 7 shots. He had 7 shots. He also got the game-winning assist. And then we can also talk about all the work he done defensively also. But Bukayo Saka today, for a guy who technically didn't get an assist or a goal, ran the show. And for a right winger to have 101 touches in a game is insane. And also with the 93% pass accuracy. The captain on the day, literally, me and you were talking and you were saying needs to step up. I thought he did his job. I don't know about you.
Hey, you messaged me at the wrong time. It's when I'm flipping annoyed at the team. Yeah, you decided to drop that question. But because it was 2-2 at the point I replied to you. So that's why I said he now needs to step up, because this is the moments where like you prove and you separate yourself from the rest of the crowd. But the reality is, look, for me, I feel like he gets a bit of that Barcelona treatment where, can he do it without Martin Odegaard? Can he do it without Ben White? Can he do it without the right-hand side supporting him? Because that was like I'm not going to say it was ever a Saka versus Martinelli, but it was also that sort of right-hand side versus the left-hand side. Like, oh, if Martin Odegaard was on the left-hand side, that Martinelli would be better. If we had a Ben White on the left-hand side, that, Martinelli would be better. Now he's starting to prove it, because now he had Timber and he had Trossard or Havertz or whoever you wanted to say on that right-hand side today, and he still performed, and he still put in a magnificent man-of-the-match performance. So he doesn't need to register goals and assists for me. The reality of his influence as a whole is what makes him so good. That, because there's games, look, and I know people hate comparisons, but when we're looking at some of the best players in the world, or arguably some of the best players in history of the game, when we look at Messi used to register like 8-9 performances without even getting a goal and assist, because of how influential he was in creating those opportunities, in creating those match moments. And that's what Saka's starting to do. He doesn't need the GA. He doesn't need the stats to make himself look good. He's doing everything he needs to do to influence the game. Now, this is why I question sometimes whether, like, he is a clutch player, but he doesn't need to be, because he influences the game in different ways. Whereas I know, obviously, we're going to get onto a conversation in a moment, which I can kind of expand on the point a bit more, but goals and assists don't make him. And that's the level. It's a bit like, for example, Rodri. Rodri isn't one of the best players in the world because he has GA. He's one of the best players in the world because he influences the game. And without his influence, we're starting to see Man City don't even run as a club. And that's what I'm saying. Like, Bukayo Saka coming out of this team is sometimes Saka is an annoying player to have, because if he's having a bad game, you kind of can't take him off, because he's the only one that's going to win you that game. So it's like he's a double-edged sword, but he's an amazing player.
All right. Talking about Saka, there's the people saying Cole Palmer is better than Saka.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a conversation we can't avoid now. Really and truly, Cole Palmer is balling out. He's absolutely balling out. 4 goals today versus Brighton, a Brighton team who we played at home. And yes, we were down to 10 men, but we couldn't go and get the victory, where Cole Palmer in 41 minutes got himself not only a hat trick, but got himself 4 goals, Premier League record. And it has people asking the question, Gunnar Souls, is Cole Palmer better than Saka? And do you think Cole Palmer will finish with more assists, more goals? What are you saying? Before we even talk about the other guys, because everyone's talking about this guy, Cole Palmer. Where is it? I'm trying to find it. You know what it is? When you got so many things going on, you're trying to find there it is. So we got these two. Forget about Foden for a second, because we know these two are clear Foden. Like, let's keep it real. 100. Foden's not even starting right now for City, where Saka and Palmer are going band for band on a regular. To be fair, we're not even going band for band. Cole Palmer just literally went and got 4 goals, more than what majority of players in the league have on the season so far. I don't even know what to say, man. Cole Palmer is just unbelievable. The funny thing is, I like Cole Palmer. I don't even want to go against him. It's just Saka, man. Saka's our guy. Do we have a case to say Saka's still better?
Why not? The reality is, right, look, yes, he scored 4 goals. Well done to him. He did what he needed to do for the team, which was score the goals, because no one else was going to do it. Saka's fortunate in a position now where, yes, maybe the squad and the team are better, where he doesn't need to directly get the goals and assists to be an influential player. That's the evolution of his game.
I say Cole Palmer is a better goal scorer. I still think Saka's a better assister. But even then, Cole Palmer has
I don't even care. Like, even if Saka gets astronomically less GA than Palmer, I still think as a player he's much better. Because I'll give you a comparison on another level, right? It's Haaland and Mbappe. Now, a lot of people are going to say Mbappe is better than Haaland, even though he registers less GA than Haaland does. Why? Because the way he can influence a game on a multitude of levels, on a different dimension as well. Whereas with Haaland is a great finisher. He's one of the best finishers we're probably ever going to see because of the ridiculous amount of goals he scores and the type of goals he scores. Now, Palmer is a little bit different because I do feel like he has got that creative element to break the lines and do kind of what Saka does as well. But for me, the reason why I say it is because Saka's doing it at a much higher level at the moment. Whereas with Palmer, I want to see that consistency before I can sit there and go, do you know what? Now you are, because Saka's doing it at international level. Saka's doing it in the Champions League. Saka's now doing it in the Premier League on a consistent basis. But for me, it's never about GA. It's about when I look at both players, who do I see more from? Now, when I look at Bukayo Saka this season, the evolution that he's made is to take on his players a bit more and that confidence to just keep doing it and keep doing it. Whereas if Palmer was in a team that no one rated, no one respected, so there was a lot of open opportunities. Today again, it's another team against Brighton who are expansive, who like to open up. They can truly sit there and go, we can take this Chelsea team on. So they, in a way, disrespected Chelsea, and that's why Palmer was able to do what he did. The problem is we're too respected. So Saka doesn't have those opportunities to go in behind and score all these goals because we're playing against literal 2 blocks of 8 that want to just sit in front of the goal. But when Palmer gets to that level where he can break those teams down and score these hat-tricks and score 4 goals against teams that want to just sit back, defend, and put 2-3 man on you, then I can talk and say, you know what, now you're the better player. But at the moment, Palmer has the freedom to express himself, to play against less players, and he isn't being marked in the same way that a Haaland does or a KDB does, or of other players. Even Saka's getting double, triple team. Players are looking at it and going, managers are looking at it and going, how do you stop Saka? And that's how you stop, Arsenal.
Do you think they don't respect Cole Palmer in the sense
no, they don't respect Chelsea. No, they don't respect Chelsea as a team just yet.
I said that on the terrace. I was like, the reason why Cole Palmer gets as much freedom, but he's also scoring from free kicks. Like the man's scoring from free kicks, the man's scoring from penalties, the man's scoring from open play. He's doing it all. So you can't really criticize the level of catalog of goals that he's getting. He's really doing a great job. I'm not dissing Cole Palmer. I'm just saying Chelsea as an entity are not getting defended the same way a Man City or Arsenal are. Just look at the defensive low blocks some of these teams go up with. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Saka or Palmer in the chat. I know there's a lot of Chelsea fans maybe watching, Liverpool fans, rival fans watching, but Cole Palmer definitely gets marked by a lot of people's souls. I do think he gets respected. Maybe Chelsea as an entity don't, but Cole Palmer definitely does.
That's the big difference, though. Like for example, when it comes to Arsenal, we're respected and feared. When the goals for like Martinelli and Saka were both astronomically high when we weren't that respected.
Look,
now Martinelli, for example, let's take Martinelli as an isolation example, right? When we weren't as respected, when teams came in and thought, we can get 3 points against this team, that's when Martinelli's output has been one of the best he's ever had, right? It's the minute we start getting respected and actually feared as a team, Martinelli's output has completely dropped. Why? Because he's now having to break down these lower blocks and more defensive-minded teams who do have a respect for the overall squad. Whereas with Palmer at the moment is still playing against teams that don't really respect Chelsea. Now, forget Palmer for a second. They don't respect Chelsea. So there's always going to be those opportunities. There's always going to be that little moment of high lines and going for the game. Whereas if opposition aren't doing that against us, they're not going for the game against us because they know the minute they open up, that's when the floodgates open. And that's the same with City. City have the same syndrome. It's why people are calling them world-class players and world beaters, because they have that syndrome where teams respect them. They don't want to open up. And the minute they do open up is when they get absolutely hammered. And that's
let me just finish up by reading some comments. Palmer is a player you can rely on to get either a goal or an assist. Saka's a great player, but he ain't Palmer. Do you agree with that?
But the flip side could be like Palmer is in Saka. Because when we've asked Saka to score a goal, he has. When we've asked him to make an assist, he has. Look at who got the assist against Spurs? Saka. Who got the assist against City? Who's had 5 assists in a row? The only one that he was about to break the record, but they took him away.
Yeah.
Because Trossard got an own goal. So
Big up
So like this idea that like Saka hasn't stepped up, he's done it against bigger opposition. He does it constantly against the top 6. So I'm not hearing this whole thing of like, oh, but when you need him to get a goal, Saka does the same.
Cole
So-
Palmer actually has league titles. What are you talking about? Anyways, let's finish off. Let's finish off this discussion another time. We can have the Cole Palmer Saka debate tomorrow also on Vibes from the 6. But we're gonna finish off with the player ratings first. Before I do the player ratings, let's just talk goalkeeper. We can't give the goalkeeper too low of a rating. He couldn't really do anything with the goals that got conceded. Don't you agree?
I don't even know if the keeper had much to do, to be honest. But
Yeah,
I'll say a 5 because I don't think that I don't even know if Raya could have actually been injured.
I'll
and
give
played that
Raya a
game.
7.
Nah, it's too high that because he didn't do anything.
He didn't really do nothing wrong.
Yeah, so 5 in it, like just a bang.
5? Okay,
Yeah, 'cause
6.
what didn't you just? I could
6.
have done that.
6.
Oh, fine. There's no point arguing. I really don't care.
Timber at right back today was linking up well with everybody, making key passes, doing everything in the final third. Really well, a good job overlapping Saka also. I'm gonna give him a 7.
I was actually going to give him an 8, but okay, I kind of
Oh,
can get
we'll
it.
meet in the middle, 7.5.
Yeah, go on, yeah, because he did get the assist. Don't forget.
All right, William Saliba just did a good job. Nothing really negative. Was he had Vardy on lock?
Yes, I'd say with Gabriel and Saliba, it's a bit like Raya. I don't know how many
Vardy
times.
tried to bully him. Did you see that when he tried to shoulder barge him and he
Yeah.
went? I'll give him an 8. What are you saying?
I was more thinking 6 or a 7, really.
All right,
Because
we'll meet in the
because
middle.
the issue with the two center, like, it's not a disrespect to them. They just didn't have much to do. That's part of the problem.
7.5, and if we're gonna give him 7.5, we give Gabriel Magalhaes 7.5. He could have easily scored a goal today, also.
Yeah, but again, they didn't have anything to do other than the 2 goals.
The guy who's gonna get an 8. The guy who's gonna get an 8 is Calafiori.
Nah, he gets an 8.5 for me.
8.5. Okay, I'll give
Yeah,
him
arguably one of the man of the matches for me. Like, I will get into it, but
he could have had a goal also.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the goalkeeper being so amazing, he could have had a goal also.
I genuinely thought that went in. I genuinely thought, like, that's it, finally. But no. But his City goal was absolutely.
Thomas Partey could have been subbed off maybe 20 minutes earlier. He did not have the worst game, but at the same time, he was kind of frustrating in that midfield at times. Overall, I'm going to give him a 6.
I wouldn't say he was frustrating at all. I just don't, again, like Raya, Gabriel, and Saliba, there wasn't really much in his role to do. So I'm gonna say, you know what, if we're giving them, he's got to get a 7 as well. That's why I didn't want to give them a higher rate. Yeah, because he did just as much as them.
6.5.
No, but what did he do any differently to Saliba, Gabriel, and Raya? Nothing.
No. But to be fair, I'm not giving him or Rice really too much either.
No, but Rice gets that 7 or a 7.5. But none of them. But
what? Because of an assist?
It's the problem is you're giving the centre backs and the keepers too high. That's my problem. That's why I
want
to give it.
All right. So if we're gonna give, so we got to give a 7.
Yeah, we have to because he didn't do anything less or more than.
And then I'm giving Declan Rice a 7.
Let me think, because I was actually going to give him a bit
higher.
higher.
What did Declan Rice really do wrong? The left channel was really
That's good. Why, you messed it up with the centre backs and goalkeepers for me, because I was going to give him a 7 because I feel like he did do a little bit more. But yeah, we can give him a 7.
All right. Kai Havertz also gets a 7. His goal is just a consolation.
Yeah, he didn't do much. Yeah, I mean, for everyone who didn't do much is getting a 7 then, because I can't give him lower than anyone else.
Gabriel Martinelli gets an 8.5.
Gabriel Martinelli, 8.5. So that's what we gave Calafior, right?
All right. Yeah, so if you guys hear a tea kettle in the background, you know why. Next, what do we have next? After Martinelli gets an 8, bro. Martinelli 8.5. Man of the
Yeah. Same as Calafiori for me. Yeah, 8.5.
8.5 for him. Bukayo Saka 8.
Yeah, I'd give him
yeah. 7 shots, 8 key passes, multiple great moments in the game. It's just unfortunate he couldn't get that assist record. Trossard gets a 9, bro. Clutch.
Right. Yeah, in a way, he's
2 goals.
Yeah,
and clutch.
Yeah, it was his shot that led to the goal. Yeah, I can get behind that.
9. Raheem Sterling was kind of poor when he came on.
Yeah, it wasn't the game for him. I don't think he could have done much in that sort of scenario either. So
I'll give him a 5.
yeah, I can get.
I'll give him a 5.
But
Okay.
Ethan gets a 9.
Ethan's performance was outstanding. He doesn't even have enough time to really get a proper rating, but
No, he does, because he's the game winner.
true.
If we're being real about it, like, I know he didn't get the direct goal or the assist, but he was the game winner. Like, he flipped that game on his head, and that's why I'm gonna give him a 9, because that's a substitute. That's an impact.
Kenny might be onto me. I have a party agenda, he says. Listen,
I don't know if he means it to me, but
every time I seem to prove him right with this quote, with this comment, every single time he says it, I tend to somehow prove him right, and it's annoying. Anyways, we're gonna wrap it up here, guys. That's pretty much it. Martinelli got a goal and an assist. He gets a 9. Yeah, sure. We're giving out easy ratings today. That's crazy. I guess it's really, our ratings are based on emotions. It's not really based on a set logic consistent throughout the board, because before this season we used to not give out 9s for freaking players that got 2 goals and an assist, because it wasn't good enough, the overall performance. Now we're giving out high ratings because our even though we're conceding goals, our performances are still really good. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here. Souls, I really do appreciate it. 45 minutes, good little time to discuss the Arsenal game. Hope everyone enjoyed this match reaction, as it's not during the Liverpool game, which means you guys can watch that game and then come here afterwards. So we're gonna try to do that for the rest of the season, so we don't have games on while we're doing these videos, especially if they're top 6 games. If it's like Brentford versus Wolves, you guys probably gonna watch the video rather than the game anyways. But yeah, I'll leave you guys alone. You guys have yourselves a wonderful day. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for a post Man United and Spurs to watch to do a full weekend recap on Vibes from the 6. Souls, thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it. Big up everybody who's watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And remember, Saka is clear of Cole Palmer. By the way, we have 24 votes, and Saka's winning 52 to 48. 26 votes. Hey, there you go. Saka won. It is our Arsenal channel, though, so we'll leave it there. Have a good one, guys. Don't forget to hit the like on the video. We're out. Peace.